Most of us have this image of what we want to be in life, and we start somewhere and we don't know how to get there, but it's really a conversation about walking yourself back from the end goal. Who do you envision yourself to be? How hard is it to get there? What does he look like? How does he talk? What are the things he does on a day-to-day basis? And if today you're not that guy, well, then you have a pretty clear position in life that you are not going where you want to go. And a conversation I just had with a savage in the Savage in a Suit community is he's not acting like the guy he plans to be in 5 or 10 years. He's acting like everybody else. He walks into the office, no suit. He's got sneakers on. He dresses like his age. He acts maybe his age or maybe even younger. And he thinks that he wants to work in capital markets, that he wants to work in Wall Street and stock market and be licensed and be trading. But his job description doesn't fit that, and his credentials don't fit that, but mainly his actual vibe doesn't fit that. And that's the problem. He's not holding himself to a standard higher than what his current position is. And I think that's majority of people's problem in life, is that they plan for bigger, but they act like they are where they are today. And so our conversation was, if the head of the firm walked into the room on any given Tuesday, Friday, how would you be dressed? If you knew he was coming, would you dress differently? Would you act differently? Would your phone be attached to your hand? Or would you have your headset on and you'd be trading and talking to a client and being deliberate about your actions? I almost think about everything in my life as if I have a documentary crew following me around. This is a Joe Rogan concept. This is something he said on one of his podcasts, and I think there's a lot of value to it, is that if you're not acting like people are watching, you're going to resort to bad habits. You're going to act like you would if you had no pressure. And if you put the pressure on yourself to act like the person you envision yourself to be in 10 years, you will actually start to get there a lot faster than 10 years from now. And when I was entering the finance industry, I did a lot of the things that most people do when they enter the industry in their first year. And a lot of it was just wasting time. It was dressing inappropriately. I'm not saying that I didn't walk in with a suit and tie every single day that I was expected to, but there were Fridays that I would dress down, and if I knew that my bosses were not going to be in the office, I can't tell you I didn't put sneakers on or I didn't wear different clothes. And I also can't tell you I don't do that sometimes today, but that's a situational thing, knowing what my audience is, knowing that I'm going to go do something after the workday, and those people wouldn't expect me to be dressed up with, loafers on. Or maybe it's inappropriate to dress like that. It's knowing your audience. But do you choose your audience? Do you act like your audience is the top caliber people? And if you expect to be in front of those people at some point, why aren't you acting like they're in the room today? A lot of it, I think, is refining your process and your mindset. Understanding that you start somewhere, but if you start acting like you're going to be somewhere higher, like you have a better echelon of life planned for you, that you need to start acting like you're already there. Are you waking up and having a process and a plan? Do you have a plan to work out? Do you have a plan to eat a certain way? Do you have a plan to send out a certain email or a certain series of emails? Do you have a process and a system for the whole week? What does your 7 days look like on a week-to-week basis? Do you have plans and objectives for your 30 days? Do you have month goals? Have you set up a monthly goal? And if you don't have a monthly goal, why not? Are you living life aimlessly? There was a long period of time where I was living so aimlessly. So if I were to rewire my brain for where I want to be in life, let's call it 5 years. 5 years ago, when I was entering the finance industry and I had just a year in, I was licensed, how would I rewire my brain to avoid the mistakes and to get there faster? Well, I would look at the top of the industry and I'd say, how are those guys acting today? The guys who manage $4 or $5 billion, the guys who are Ubering from office to home and home to office, who are flying the private jets, who live the lifestyle on a yacht, how are they acting on a day-to-day basis? Do they have that executive level presence? I would start carrying that presence. The way I operate today is lack of shame. I have zero shame. Who I am is who I am. If you don't like the way I speak, if you don't like the way I operate, if you don't like the timbre in my voice and the excitement I bring to life, we're not going to align anyway. So I live with no ridicule. I live with no remorse. And there were plenty of years where all I was doing was thinking about, are people going to judge me for being the overachiever? Are people going to judge me for acting a certain way when I'm only 23 years old? I'm only 22 years old. I should act like 22-year-olds. I should be in the 22-year-old bar. I should be drinking what 22-year-olds drink. I should be spending my money on what other 22-year-olds are spending their money on. Absolutely not. How you should be spending your time, where you should be spending your dollars, and how you operate on a day-to-day basis should be what 32-year-old version of you would be doing. Now, I'm not saying you need to have a family and have the house and have everything set up at 22. And maybe you do. So what does the next version of you do on a day-to-day basis? How do you operate? Do you still give in to those childish tendencies? Are you still acting immature when you have real life in front of you? And I'm not saying not to enjoy your life. I'm not saying not to celebrate life. I'm not saying to lose all of your vigor of being your inner child. I'm saying to carry yourself and add the same serious intention on your life as if you're going there. Because if you're spinning your wheels and you're staying in the same place, it's your fault. And everything that you do is your fault, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, right? Rewiring your frequency, rewiring your thought process, rewiring your self-respect today will pay dividends for the next 10 years of your life and thereafter. There's a compounding effect. Are you compounding efforts today, or are you compounding habits and the person that you reside in, that you revert back to when life gets hard? Because when life gets hard, you become the person that you are inevitably going to be when the doors are closed and nobody's watching. Start acting like the most important people are watching. How do you allow yourself to conduct yourself, regardless of who's in the room? And the testament of a high performer and the testament of somebody who is executing on their plans is how they act when nobody is watching. And I ask you this, are you in the spot today that you would expect yourself to be? Would 15-year-old you be happy with where you are today? And if the answer is yes, then you're doing great and shut the video off. But if your answer is, I'm not sure, well, then you have a lot of self-work to do. And that's okay. The self-work is where all of the real work happens, right? Because we could work on projects all day long. We could seem really busy. I love when people seem too busy to talk, too busy to do anything, too busy to spend time, and they're not going anywhere. It's because they're filling their life with mindless stuff. They're not being intentional about the things that they're trying to achieve. I'm always busy. But you could ask anybody who's a part of my life, who's a part of my winner circle, I'm proud to spend the time because I find it worth it. Because I'm deliberate about my intentions. I'm deliberate about my frequency, the energy that I give out to people. Because it's the energy I know I will get back from the people I know are worth it. Set higher expectations for yourself today based off of where you want to be in life. Evaluate the people around you based off of where you want to be in life. Know that the people that started with you at the beginning were the people that were gifted to you. And maybe they were the people that are supposed to get you to the next level and rise with you. Or maybe they were just the launch pad. Maybe they were just the first. Or maybe they're the shackles that hold you back from that next level, the potential that you do have for yourself. And maybe it will just take one person in the room to disrupt it enough to show you that you deserve more, that you are more, so that you can have that higher frequency, so that you can rewire your brain to be that next version of yourself. And it starts today.